afternoon. Are these live?
It should be live.
Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for coming. My name is Tom Wallace, and I am one of the partners of Florida Funders, and we're just delighted to have you here. This is our third annual investor lunch, and wow, 3 years. It's hard to believe it's been 3 years. And I hope you're all enjoying the Synapse show. I want to say a really great shout out to Mark Blumenthal and Andy Hafer and the job they've done with Synapse. It's just, and the entire Synapse team, when we did this 3 years ago, we had 500 people, and I think it's 5,000 people, so 10 times in 3 years, pretty good. Anyone that doesn't think there's a lot going on in technology in Florida just has to come here and look around, and you can see it. And it's very exciting. So I thought I'd go over our agenda with you real quick. I'm going to bring up Jeff Vinik here in a second. He's going to kick us off. Then I'm going to give a little talk about angel investing in the state of venture capital in Florida. Then we have two of our portfolio companies that we're going to give you a quick update on their progress. And then we have a new company that we're in the process of funding, and they're going to give you their presentation, their pitch. And then Mark Blumenthal will come up and he'll close. So, with that, really Jeff Vinik doesn't need an introduction to anybody that's been around Tampa for any period of time at all. But what you may not know about Jeff is how quickly when he came into town, he really got involved in the tech community and how much he has supported the tech community and supported Florida Funders. He's a great friend of ours. We really appreciate all he's done for us. There's so much Jeff's done for the community, it's hard to even start, but what's most impressive, not so impressive to me is not the hockey team. I'm trying to get this right, I'm butchering it a little bit. I'm not so impressed that he ran a hedge fund and did that great, and then he ran Magellan or Fidelity or one of them did that great. Then he owns a hockey team. I'm not so impressed that he's partners with Bill Gates and spending $3 billion revitalizing our community. But what I am really impressed with is how humble Jeff is. And from the very first time I met him, I was just so taken back by how humble he is, how cool of a guy, how down to earth he is, and how sincere he is. And I'll leave you with that. It's my great honor to introduce Jeff Vinik.
Hey, thank you all for coming. Thank you, Tom, for the introduction. For a while there, I was going to say you're not impressed with that. You're not impressed. That's what I have to do. So, I'm thrilled to be here. I don't know if you've seen, I'm actually starting up my hedge fund again, so I'm putting a lot of focus on that. I promised I wouldn't do this, so I am not going to talk to a room full of accredited investors and mention my hedge fund. I will not do that. So you don't have to worry. I will mention Florida Funders and what they're doing for this community in this state, and hopefully for everybody in this room. I will mention Florida Funders. This state has had a chicken and the egg problem. Those with capital have said, historically, there aren't enough great companies here. The great companies have said there's not enough capital here. We are all, everybody in this room, and Florida Funders and this event, we are all change agents because Florida is changing, and Florida has momentum. You cannot go from being a C to being an A, and we're in that process overnight. This takes work. It takes people to get on the bandwagon. It takes success. It takes publicizing and getting the story out, something we must do as a region. But the amount of change that's going on, if I look in Miami, Orlando, and Tampa, the amount of momentum there is, the venture capital dollars being raised, the number of companies that are being started, going like that, the quality of the companies that are being started, it is night and day different than it was 10 years ago and 20 years ago. And even more important than that, it will be night and day different 5 and 10 years from now because we have momentum. It is so critical. On the investor side, we all know there is a ton of money in Florida, but generally what you have is people like me who knew nothing about venture, nothing about private equity, frankly, until a few years ago. People who have made money in the finance industry, in real estate, owned their own businesses and retired to Florida, people who didn't speak the language. Florida is not full of people who speak the language of venture and entrepreneurialism and startups and growth. It's up to us. We are all evangelizers. It is not only about having great companies and capital and customers and all the other stuff that comes with it. It is about growing this movement because it's an important movement for this state. If we don't, so we're on that journey from C to A, and we're somewhere in the B's. Let's give us in Florida, let's be honest. We've made major progress. Let's say we're a B minus right now. How do we get to a B plus in 5 years, right? Everybody in this room has to talk to their friends and publicize the groundswell and the opportunities here. I went to a high school at the end of last year, and I spoke to the kids, and I said to them, when I asked, how do you measure success? And I measure success, I looked around the room and I said, how many of you are in Tampa 10 years from now? How many of you are in New York, Silicon Valley, Austin, Boston, wherever else you may be? That's how we measure success here. That's part of this whole groundswell. How do we measure success? How many programs do our universities have? How many opportunities do our universities provide to young startups? That's part of how we measure success. Synapse, this organization, this conference, this is part of measuring success and creating that groundswell and showcasing the companies that we have. Having young people, both local, and let's import them, let's bring them in. Going back to my premise from day one, and everybody's probably heard this message, it's like the mayor says it's our time. Well, I say this is a great place to live, and there is no reason why we can't lead and do great in everything, because people want to be here. Look at some of the other cities, Cincinnati, nothing wrong with Cincinnati, but there are a lot of cities, Minneapolis, making good progress on this. We're as great a place to live as any of those cities. We should be able to import talent. That's what we are all have to be about here. I applaud Florida funders for what they have done. Their relentless focus on connecting capital with entrepreneurs. Such a critical mission. We all have to be part of that mission. The potential here, the number of companies that I've seen in the last 2 years versus what I saw the first 5 years in Tampa, it's a great difference. The amount of entrepreneurs who have said they're going to stay here and want to be part of this. We have a story. People come here because they want to be part of the story. I hired Steve Eisman, Todd Light. They want to be the story of Tampa. They want to be part of the story on the Lightning side. They want to be the story of where we're going as a city. If we don't have a strong, and the state, this is all applicable to the state. Miami's doing well. Knight Foundation is great. Orlando is making progress. We're doing great here. We've got to do greater. If we're going to get to be where we need to be as a state, where we need to be as a city, we've got to increase we've got to have 10,000 people at this event in 3 years. That's a goal, Mark. Can we do it? 10,000 in 3 years. You know what? I think we doubled. We're up 50, 75% from a year ago. That is unbelievable. That's another way of measuring, right? Exactly. Unless you put everybody in for free this year. I doubt you did that. So that is my message here. Thank you for being early adopters. This is an entrepreneurial movement in itself. We are early adopters. We are the ones who believe in where we're going, believe in the process, and we're the ones that are going to help get the news out, provide the capital, give encouragement to entrepreneurs, work with entrepreneurs, provide them coaching. We're the ones that are going to make them want to be here and make young people want to stay here and make others want to move here, which is also equally important. So thank you all so much for attending this event. Thank you all for being part of this movement. And I had no idea 5 years ago that I was going to be part of it. I didn't know. But I learned it's a critical element to the future of this city and the future of the state. You all know that also. You have all learned about this. Probably a lot of people in this room knew nothing about venture 10 years ago, but you've educated yourself. You've met with people. You've met with founders, et cetera. You've met with Florida funders. So thank you for that. I hope you're having a great time here over the last day or two, and I hope it's been really productive. Thank you all.